What's up, everybody? And I want to say thank you to my show. Thank you for tuning in to the Mecca James Show. I tell you, people, I give you fashion, politics, and everything in between. But today, people, I'm telling you, I'm bringing you the best of the best. It's all about the game on the show. I have two of the cast members from the show, Miss Wendy Raquel Robinson, who plays a.k.a. Tasha Mack, the very sassy, confident, and outspoken Tasha Mack on the show. And then not only I have one cast member, I have two cast members on the show, Mr. Hosea Chanchez, who plays Malik Wright, the very cocky, confident, and, you know, he's a bit of a ladies' man on the show. So tune into the show. It's the Mecca James Show. It's going down. It's all about the game. Last season, 7.7 million people watched on BET, and it premieres tonight at 10 o'clock. And here's one of my guests. Hello.
Mecca James, what's happening?
Yes. I want to give you my former introduction. We have the beautiful and the talented Miss Wendy Raquel Robinson is in the building, a.k.a. Tasha Mack. She balls out of control, outspoken, sassy, and so much more. Thank you for coming on the show.
Well, thank you for having me, but I'm not by myself. I bought my sidekick, my ride or die.
Yes. And we have Mr. Hosea Chanchez in the building, the very talented Mr. Hosea Chanchez, and very handsome, that I might say.
Ooh, all right.
So
I like
people,
my intro. Record that on my intro.
This is how I do on the Mecca James Show. I'm going to ask Wendy, should I call you Wendy, Miss Raquel? What would you like for me to call you?
Miss Jackson, if you're nasty. No, I'm kidding, girl. Call me Wendy. I keep it easy. I keep it real simple.
We're gonna have some fun. I'm gonna talk to Wendy, and then we're gonna go to Hosea. You know, people have been dying for the show to come back. Before we go into your character, Tasha Mack, you know, you've been in the industry for so long. You know, can you tell us, when did you get the acting bug?
Oh my goodness. You know what's amazing? I've been acting since I was at elementary school, you know, doing plays and things like that. I actually started as a dancer and doing musicals and, you know, just we would do plays in my backyard. You know, I grew up in the hood where you had to make fun. You know, we couldn't afford a lot of stuff, so we just made our own fun. And I had a lot of kids on my street. There was about maybe 15 of us, and we were all about the same ages, between, you know, 8 to 12. We'd get together, put a little skits on in the backyard and things like that. So the question is not how long have I been acting, it's how long I've been getting paid for real, because there's a big difference. But God is good. I've been doing it since I was in elementary school. It's just kind of like all I know. It's like tying my shoelaces. You know?
Yes. And you're doing such a good job. First of all, I'm so excited for tonight's season. I mean, everybody is talking about it. You know, we've been on Facebook, we've been on Twitter, we have conversations.
Thank y'all.
You know, you and Jose and the whole cast, it's like family. You know, we bring you into our house every weekend, and every day, every week, rather. And do you ever get, you or Jose can answer this question, do people say, Tasha,
I'll let Jose talk.
Do anyone ever respond to you? Go ahead on, Malik. Hey, Hosea.
I'm here. What'd you say? I'm sorry. I missed it. It was a lot of laughing going on. You know, Wendy talks real loud.
I know. Do people ever respond to you as your character?
Do people what to me as my character? I'm sorry.
Respond to you as on your character or something? Do people in the street say, "Hey, Malik, how you doing?"
All the time. You know what? At first, I didn't know how I felt about it. I was like, you know, my name's Hosea. But then I was like, you know what? Nah, this is me. Like, the character is me. We're the same person. And it's just like you said, people invite us into their homes once a week, and it's like we're like family to people. So there's a certain, there's like a certain, we owe you that. You know, the respect. Right. Yeah, there's a certain respect that comes along with it, especially after coming back after you guys, the fans voted the show back on and fought so hard to get the show back on. We really owe you guys pretty much everything except my paycheck.
Okay.
But yeah, so there's a certain responsibility associated with it that we give back to our fans just because of, how hard you guys work to get the show back on air. It is a fan show. We know we're not working because of, a network decided to just put us on. We know we're working because people actually want us here,
Right.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
That was a good answer, baby. A good answer.
Thank you, Mama.
Good answer on your part. You did it well. I wanted to know about your character. We'll go. Either one of you can ask. What is the storyline? Because Hosea, your character, went through a lot of things, and Tasha, you went through some things as well. Wendy as well. So can you tell us a little bit about the storyline, your character?
Well, you know what? In the premiere episode, we're picking up where we left off, and where we left off last season was. Malik was handling, his rehab situation, his little druggy girlfriend, and then, I was fired from representing Derwin, which inevitably, both situations forced us back together into each other's lives. So we're picking up now Tasha Mack, we call it the Mack Wright juice. We're back in business with each other. Tasha Mack, Malik Wright, we're back, but we're still dealing with, his love and his commitment to his girl Jenna, but I don't want that to come in the way. If it don't make dollars, it don't make sense. Now, there's a little help trying to drag you down, and that's not a good look for us. So that's the conflict, that's the comedy, but it's also still trying to help me, baby. Look, that's where we are, basically. Because I don't want to give too much. I get carried away, and it's like, damn, you done told the whole episode, Wendy. I done told the whole damn season. Sorry.
The whole season, right on the Mecca James show.
Right, exactly. But basically, that's where we pick up.
Okay, that is good.
No, it's great. It's because it lends itself to a lot of drama as well as a lot of comedy, and I don't want to spill too much, but I mean it's juicy. But inevitably, I believe that Tasha is definitely figuring out. I'm always family first. It's about the family. But at the same time, how much am I going to push myself away from just myself and discovering, okay, it's time for me to take care of me. I've always been taking care of family and everybody else, but damn it, when am I going to take the time out for Tasha Mack and putting her first? So I think that's been my thirst this entire season in discovering, it's okay to do for me and it's okay to love me. I'm not going to, I can't keep jumping from man to man and bed to bed looking for love, but it's okay for me to just love me without being validated by anybody else.
Exactly. So, now, I wanted to say, Wendy, you had some very interesting boyfriends on the show, Rick Fox, Terrence J. Could you tell us, will you be, who will be your love interest, or, will you be in a healthy relationship? Will we see Tasha Mack get married this season?
Girl, you know what I call it? Wheel of Fortune. We're spinning around. I have several interesting gentlemen to come into my life, which takes us again back to where Tasha's going to end up going, because at first I was a little taken aback. I was like, now, come on, y'all, after, one man and another man and another man, I was like, now, what are we saying here? But, in trusting the writers and where they are, they took me on a ride, and it ended up landing at a place where I'm forced to look at the mirror and, discover who I am and why I'm going from man to man to man to man. But make a long story short, Carl Payne makes an appearance, Rockland Dunbar makes an appearance. Rick Fox even jingles now and then. I mean, so, I don't want to tip too much, so let me shut up.
Okay.
But it's an interesting ride for me this particular season,
Wonderful, wonderful. Now I'll give the question to Hosea.
Thank you.
Your character, your character Malik Wright. You know, he's kind of cocky. He's very confident, a ladies' man, all-around player. Do you have any similarities in your own person? Do you have any similarities in your personality with Malik, or is your personality totally different in real life?
You know, I think that stop laughing. I think that his probably sarcasm and wit and, you know, things like that we share those things. But, I mean, you know, general personality-wise, I don't think that we're much alike. We do share a commonality of having a single mom experience and having a mom raise us and, you know, having that relationship with your mom where she's more like your best friend because you grew up together at such a young age. She had you at a young age, and you grew up with her at a young age. It's more like a brother and sister relationship. So, you know, when she's trying to tell you things that she probably should be telling you, it's like, huh? You know, it's more like this, like, you know, we like homies. So me and him share that experience, which is probably a big majority of, you know, who he is. You know, the arrogance, the, you know, the chauvinistic part, the, you know, the cockiness, all that stuff. That's not really me, though.
Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me?
Be politically correct on the show. You're not giving me the exclusive. I'm on this interview, Eddie. Really. You're not giving us the exclusive. Now, I've talked to a lot of people about both of you guys, and everyone says you guys are very down to earth. But I wanted to know, and let the people out there know, both of you have charities. Can you talk some more about your charities that you are? Talk some more about your charities.
Well, I'll get mine out the way real quick because I know Wendy's. She can be a little bit long-winded about anything. So, no, really, particularly her charity. I know how she is, but mine is a charity called Watch Me Win. And what I did was I just created, you know, a curriculum. When I started in this business, I really, which wasn't that long ago, obviously, but I'm tired of really getting on red carpets and stuff, talking about myself and talking about what I'm doing. And I was like, okay, you know what, God, how can I transfer and translate this to something that's bigger than me? So, you know, it's something that I really prayed about for a long time, at least a year and a half into it. And then I came up with the idea to empower and inspire and influence youth, giving them the tools that they need to live above status quo, live above their circumstance, live above their home life, live above negativity, unlocking the keys to their mind to live in a more positive world, and discovering what it is they want to be, how they can be successful, not monetary success, but the success of discovering their purpose and their passion, and differentiating between the two, you know, the purpose and the passion, and knowing how to, you know, pursue their passion and also deliver their purpose along the way, servicing both of them. So that's really what we do with my charity.
Wow.
Nice. I like that.
And my charity is very similar to Hosea, but it goes back to, like I said, doing plays in my backyard and just growing up in the inner city. And, you know, we didn't have a lot of outlets other than, you know, being creative. You know, it was either be creative or get in a gang and, you know, get out in the street one way or the other. And right now the arts are being taken out of the school system, so many of our kids are becoming disenchanted with with school, you know, and just not really being the dreamers that we were when I was coming up. So my best friend and I co-founded Amazing Grace Conservatory 15 years ago, and it's a performing arts school for youth and young adults. But beyond the arts, you know, we teach them life skills, and, you know, we build self-esteem through self-awareness and self-expression so that, you know, whether they want to be actors, singers, or dancers, or doctors, or lawyers, or whatever it is they might want to be, we give them the self-confidence that they can do anything that they want to do and to, you know, think big and dream big and and to hope big. So we use the arts and we use education and we use a little bit of everything to give them the tools to empower themselves. So actually, both our charities are very complementary. We need to be collaborating. We just ain't got the time, Lord.
That would be wonderful.
I agree.
Okay, it really would. It's so crazy between our schedules and then, operating our charity. I mean, it's been great, but it's been a passion piece for me. It's like, so many times you pray for, Lord, what's my vision? What's my purpose? And what's my passion?
Yeah.
I believe I found my purpose and my passion all in one with Amazing Grace Conservatory.org. So check out our website and get more information. And we're a nonprofit 501c3, so if you're interested in donating or sponsoring the student, we do accept donations. They're all tax deductible.
That's right. You have to plug it.
Right. That is important. I got to promote it.
I got to commend both of you for that. What I wanted to ask both of you, Wendy and Hosea, who or what inspires you?
Your turn, Hosea. Mm-hmm.
Oh, you going to put it on me first?
You know what? I'll be totally honest. I get my inspiration from the kids that I work with because it's such a reciprocal energy. When you work with kids, they keep it pure, they keep it authentic. They'll read me. It's like, really, Miss Wendy, why you got on Nikes with your Adidas sweatsuit? I mean, or it'll be something that simple. It'll be like, Miss Wendy, when you said that one line, what were you thinking? Because your intention was not coming back. It's like, oh my God. There's no censorship, and it's a good thing, and it keeps me totally on point, but coming into the business, I was so inspired by Debbie Allen. She was like, and still is to this day, she and Marna Gibbs are my personal mentors. I can call them up or, I have immediate accessibility to them, and I just really, really dig how Debbie didn't allow anything to stop her. She's a choreographer, director, a writer, producer. She's in front of the camera, behind the camera. She's got her own school, and she's just constantly thinking outside of the box. And I really appreciate and respect and admire everything she's done in this business, and just the fact that I, got a landline on her, and I could be like, yo, Debbie, I need help, and she's just really been a mentor to me in this business. So that's it for me. And my mama. And my daddy.
That's a good look.
My sister.
Yeah,
that's it. Yeah.
That's funny.
Turn it over to you, Hosea.
You know what, for me, I've only had one real inspiration my whole life outside, outside of spiritual inspirations, but my only one real inspiration my whole life has been my grandfather. This is a guy who raised me and taught me the value of hard work and taught me the value of sacrifice, even when my own parents weren't really that available because they were young themselves,
of course.
having me right out of high school or whatever, or in high school and out of high school. My grandparents really took me under their wing and became my full parental, and not just parental, but my full life scope, teaching me how to, cultivate anything out of nothing. My grandfather has about 300 acres of land or more farmland. Wow. And he worked for the Alabama Power Company and still worked his land every single day. We're talking from collard greens to peas to fruits to, onions to pears to chickens, hundreds of chickens, hundreds of cows. We're talking real farmland, and we actually sold food. So that experience at a young age, not wanting to go to the country because we had a house in the city and a house in the country, which is where my great-grandmother lived out in the country on the land, which is where my grandfather actually grew up. Going into 40 minutes into the country from the city every day out of school taught me the value of hard work, taught me the value of how to cultivate something out of nothing, and how at the end of the day, my grandparents were not rich by any stretch of the imagination, but I never really knew how they could buy a Cadillac cash. They never had a car note. They only had 20-year mortgages Real talk.
Yeah.
Like they only had 20-year mortgages.
Wow.
And, you know, they sacrificed, they worked hard, and they got, you know, everything they needed for their family to be successful. All my uncles and aunties, they had the same upbringing that I have. So we all really have the tools from these two individuals of how to, you know, work really hard, how to put God first, and then how to go out and get what you want and not just rely on your religion and not just rely on anything, but you have to actually work yourself, and you have to put in the time and the hours to accomplish having a great life, and not just physical, you know, not just things, but to really have a great sense of direction in your life. And that's what they taught me. So my biggest inspiration, my biggest hero, my biggest fan, my biggest the biggest love in my life, period, is my grandfather, hands down.
That's wonderful, and I totally can relate to that because my grandmother raised me, and she's from North Carolina, and I totally can relate to everything you're saying. And back then, you know, they didn't have credit. Everything was cash, and that's how she taught us, you know, how to be a lady. So I totally can connect with you on that. And I wanted to ask a couple of more questions. What advice can you give, Wendy and Hosea, to someone, particularly African-American people, that would like to get into the acting game? They see the game on the show, and they're saying, you know what, I would love to be an actor. What advice can you give someone starting out?
Well, I'm going to be straight up. Train, study, and become a master of your craft. You know, it's such a competitive business, you know, and you need to first see it as a business first. You know, so many times we see what's going on TV. Ooh, I won't do that. It looks so easy, but it's really a craft and a business about it. And I've seen people come and go and get eaten up because, you know, they don't master the business entity of it, you know. And do your due diligence, you know, research, read books, and train and learn and ask questions. The squeaky wheel gets the oil. No, really, no. I mean, you know, ask. You have not because you ask not, you know. And,
yeah, you have to.
Yeah, you just hit the nail on the head. I mean, I agree 110%. And I think most importantly, it's something that you can't give up on. This business can be so unencouraging, you know, and it seems like a fairy tale. But the truth is, when you actually finally make it from, you know, audition after audition, rejection after rejection, no, you're not right. No, you're not tall enough. No, you're not bright enough. No, you're not freaking dark enough. No, you know, you're not even black.
You're not light enough. Right.
You know what I mean? You're not. So after all of that and still finally making it, and it's funny because Wendy can tell you because she's been in this business long enough, and I had a brief chat with Forrest Whitaker, not a name drop because I don't know him. Let me just preface that. It was just a quick conversation, and I was asking him, you know, how does it feel to have made it? And he's like, I haven't made it. You know, he's like, I make it. Every movie that I make it. You know, he's like, it's a continual. He said it's a death and a I don't want to misquote him, but he said it was a rebirth and something to the effect of it's a rebirth and a death every time. It's a life and a death every time. Every time you have to, you know, when a job is over, you die, and when you just know when you're reborn or something to that effect.
Wow.
You know, and even at his point, and I think he had won the Oscar at that point in time, and he's like, yeah, you know, every time I get a job, it's me making it. So it's not, you never really get to a point in this business that I know of where you can just sit back, relax, and coast. I'm sure Denzel wants some of Will's roles. I'm sure Will wants some of Tom's roles. You know what I mean? I'm sure at every level in this business, you still have desires, aspirations, and dreams that, you know, some people are telling you really can't make it to. So you got to keep going. That was my point.
Right. You definitely have to keep going. I read an article. They said Denzel Washington still takes acting classes, and I was like, wow. So do you guys still take acting classes?
From each other.
Definitely with each other. But even on my hiatuses, I'm definitely back in the play. The theater is my first and foremost. That's my roots. And every time I do a play, I do something that challenges me not only artistically but mentally as well. So I'll do characters that I probably would not necessarily get an opportunity to portray in television or film, but I do it for me and for the thirst of it, just to keep my chops up. And, and also, again, the work that I do with AmazingGraceContemporary.org and teaching with the kids, it is a classroom setting because, when you're doing the acting is giving and receiving. So,
Now,
theater's my baby.
I don't necessarily embark upon a class, but what I do is I still train with teachers. If there's a important role, or even not even really important, if something that I feel like I can't tap into, which there's a lot, in this business, when you're trying to be a lot of people and you're only one person, sometimes you need help translating and understanding somebody else's language and somebody else's body. And, I still train. I still coach with coaches.
Good. That's and both of you are doing a wonderful job. Now, I wanted to always ask this question. When you got the call, BET picked up the game, how did you feel about that? What was going through you guys' mind?
Look, I'll make a long story short. It's like, how do I still feel? It's unreal. It really is. It was unbelievable. We knew the rumor, and we had heard about it possibly happening, but it was just taking forever, it seemed like. And then it was a steady climb, wasn't it, Hosea? It was like, okay, texting each other, did you get this message? Did you get that message? It's like, okay, so what do you think? And Hosea, you had a lot of inside info too, right?
Yeah, well, not really a lot of inside info, but what it was, a lot of hearsay.
A lot of hearsay, and, it was, but when we finally got that call, it was like, yes, it was crazy. It still is.
Oh, my God. I
agree.
It's already.
Yeah.
Now, 7.7 million people watched the premiere. When you got that call or someone told you, the premiere, 7.7 million people, what was going through your mind?
It was euphoric for me. I really thought I was dreaming. I was like, what? But although I still had a great expectation for, the show, my expectations were high, just like they are today. I have very high expectations of it, and I also put I put the responsibility back on the fans, because it's like, look, you guys worked really hard to get the show on air, and not only do you work really hard to put the show on air, I know one thing about these producers is that they do listen to what you guys say. You said you wanted more comedy, they gave it to you. You said you wanted this, they gave it to you. You said you wanted that. So you pretty much have your own show here, and it's your responsibility to, show up and support it. And those are my expectations, and because I don't go to work thinking that I'm just doing this just for me. The days that I'm having really, really, really hard days and I don't want to, do something or whatever, I keep going because I know it's not about me anymore. It's about the fans, because they got us to where we are. So, yeah, I have high expectations, and my expectations at that time were really high too.
I'm predicting 27 million tonight. I mean, we're gonna do it for the game.
God,
I'm predicting 27 million. We gotta do it for the game. We love the show.
From your lips to God's ears. How about that?
That's right. You gotta put the thoughts out there. It starts with a thought first. And I just want to say thank you, both of you, for coming on the show. I have so many questions, but I know you guys have to go. I also want to say congratulations, Wendy, on your marriage. And if you can just tell me a little bit, how do you juggle from being a wife and your career? And then I'll ask Jose a couple of questions, and then you guys can go.
You know what? I'm so blessed. My husband is my best friend. He's here right now with me, too. So you know, we ride and die together, you know what I mean? And it's like people can, you know, it hasn't been easy. It's but it's been wonderful. And, I mean, I've really been blessed to have a husband. I have a friend. I have a confidant. Shut up. You're looking at me right now. But that's my guy right there. He's got my back. And I just know how blessed I am, and I know how blessed he is to have me. So, hey.
Hey, I know that's right. So what is that? Isn't it? Communication is definitely the key. So what's next for you, Hosea? I know that you started in commercials. Then do you want to produce, make films? What's next for you?
You know what? Film. My idols. You know, for me, when I really first started in this business, taking it step by step, I was just trying to do what my idols did, you know, Eddie Murphy, Martin Lawrence, Will Smith, you know, the Wayans brothers, all of the Wayans brothers, Richard Pryor. You know, they started in TV. My whole objective was to just get a TV show at first and, you know, starting in commercials, wanting to just learn camera angles and learn what the business was like. And then, you know, co-starring and guest starring and then getting my own show, which happened a lot faster than I thought it would. So now, the next step for me is to continue in the path that, you know, that my idols did. You know, my whole inspiration in this business mode-wise is, you know, to try to do some of what Eddie did. I don't necessarily want to be Eddie, but I love the movies that Eddie made, you know, and I feel like we still have a deep desire for what Eddie and even Whoopi, you know, if you think about those lighthearted family comedies, where it was so intertangled with, you know, black, white, Puerto Rican, Asian, whatever, back in the day. Even the Wayans brothers, like what they did, there's such a desire and a need for that. That's the type of business mold that I'm trying to move into right now, or moving into, I should say.
And what is next for you, Wendy?
Ooh, let us pray. How about that?
You're so funny.
You know, I'm really interested in producing and directing, you know, and I was fortunate I directed a piece for Nephew Tommy. It was a sketch comedy show with him and Lavelle Crawford, you know, which I really enjoy working with comics and things like that. So that opened up another window of possibilities for me to step inside of another box and all of that. So that's what I'm praying on, you know. And, of course, I would love to continue in television. It's been a wonderful avenue for me. I love the work that I've been able to do. I love the hours I've been able to have and still maintain, you know, my personal life and my charity work and things like that. So I'm really looking forward to staying in television for as long as I can and just, you know, parlaying the gift that God has given me. And if a good movie comes along every now and then, and hither and thither, that'll be a blessing too. So that's it.
Oh, yes.
And praying and hoping. No.
And the $1 million.
I'm a little delirious. And I'm like,
song and dance.
Hey, I mean, this is the people, everybody that's listening, this is the chemistry that the game has. It is, you know, they're just not on set because you can feel the chemistry. I'm pretty sure that Hosea hangs out with Kobe and Pooch, and you can just see the vibe that it's just not an on-set friendship. Am I correct?
Absolutely.
You know what? That I believe is the reason why we have been able to keep going. I don't even believe it. I know. You know, these people are my friends. You know, we're all much like brothers and sisters in so many different ways. And I know, for me, the reason in this business that, you know, the little bit of business sense that I do have is because I was blessed with veterans like Wendy and like Tia and like Kobe. Like these three people in particular, even Brittany, you know, being that she had such a long career up into the game and after, but knowing that they came to work every day so humbled and, you know, they were on shows and syndication and, you know, famous, and they came to work and showed me and Pooch, who were newer, how to actually, you know, be humbled and have humility and be thankful for every little thing that you get. and still obviously raising the bar and wanting more, but they created this business mold. So for me, I owe them everything because they taught me how to be, a good businessman in this business and how to, not really settle but raise my own personal bar. And that's what the game is all about. That's what we do. That's what's behind the scenes. That's what, everybody looking out for everybody. Wendy, pull somebody aside, if she needs to, and just have a conversation about, business and life. And Tia and Kobe, and, that's how it is. That's how this family was born.
This is the Mecca James Show. I want to thank Wendy and Hosea for being on the show. Listen to the game. It comes on tonight at 10 o'clock. Everyone watch the show. Follow me on Twitter, Mecca from Uptown. I thank you, everybody. Thank you for everyone that was in the chat room. If you want to leave comments, you can go to the MeccaJamesShow.com, Mecca Show 1, and just leave comments and everything. Thank you so much for everyone that's tuning in. And the game, 7.7 million. We're predicting 27.7 million tonight. And thank you for tuning in the show. All right, y'all. Good night.